Welcome to, I'm not sure what number episode it is, but we are back on the Blue Devil podcast. Here we are with Miss Rowe and Stella, Miss Hufton. Yes. So you are the new band director.
Yes, I am.
You took over for Mr. Gonder, which we talked to before. And since that interview, you've been one of the most requested people.
Oh my goodness.
To talk to.
Who are we polling?
It's not even like we didn't ask anybody. It's just like people are like, you should do Miss Rowe. You should do Miss Rowe. And so I figured with the tin can raffle coming up, which we'll get to, I figured that's a good time to get you on the podcast to plug that a little bit too.
Absolutely.
So we'll start with just like a recap of the season. But first, Stella's ordering McDonald's, or she was.
Oh.
And
okay.
You mentioned DoorDash.
Yeah.
I've got a fun fact. I've never used DoorDash a day in my life.
Okay.
The only delivery I've used is like Hungry Howie's like pizza delivery.
Okay.
But is like DoorDash expensive?
No.
It depends.
I don't think
Because
it
there's
really
so many instances where I
hassle.
want to have DoorDash, but I don't want to spend the money, but I've never looked into it.
It depends on how far you are, the location you're at. It also depends. Like sometimes they have deals.
Oh.
Like
Yeah.
free delivery day. I don't
Or
actually
Can
know
you
if that's
go
a
like
thing.
code,
anywhere?
maybe?
Like you can get food from anywhere.
No, not anywhere. Most places.
Like Sagano's?
I don't know if
maybe.
Sagano's is on there.
I think.
My
don't
problem
know.
is, why are you ordering Sagano's to go?
Oh my gosh. You...
You're
This
gonna
is
pay
on
that-
She didn't live in
If-
Fenton during the
if you're gonna-
COVID times.
I did.
You did?
Yeah.
So I don't know if you know
Never
this,
mind.
Stella, but my addiction to Sagano's this past year, I mean, it was COVID is what set it off because the ease of going to get carry out with it.
Okay, that's fair.
Like I was getting Sagano's 2 times a week
Oh.
at one point, and it was like,
You're rich.
I was just like,
it's not even about the money because if you
Yeah.
do lunch, it's like the
it's
same price
cheaper,
as,
but it's
yeah.
the same
Oh,
amount of
okay.
food.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is why I'll be at Sagano's literally on Wednesday when we don't have school.
Yeah, it's the best place ever. So I've toned it down a bit because I was like, this is starting to get a little out of hand.
You like walk in, they're like, "Hi, Brayden."
Personally, I don't really like
You know what's actually crazy? I
You
walked
like
in.
your usual.
I walked in last week, and I was with a couple people, and they said 4 for Brayden, and I was like, "Yep, yep." I was like, "Okay, that's when I realized I have a problem."
They should rename it the Brayden.
I don't know about that marketing, but
I don't know. Sagano's is nice.
BT Media will buy out Sagano's one day.
Maybe.
The BT Media.
That could be a
BTs.
good coffee shop or something.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about the season, the marching season. But is it over technically because you have Jingle Fest, right?
It is not technically over because we have Jingle Fest. That is
Okay.
correct.
So how has the season been so far then? Like, okay, so let's start with some highlights. What were some of your favorite parts?
I think for me as a new director, Friday nights were the most normal
Yeah.
thing. After COVID, after director change, it was like Friday night. It was like I was the director, so it was a little bit different for me, but it was kind of the same like vibe that
Yeah.
it was years ago
Right,
when I was
right.
in it. Like Friday night seemed the most normal to me. What do you think?
I think Friday nights and like even band camp was really, really fun.
Hey,
It was like a different like
I think
'Cause I
you're
was
the only
always-
person who's ever said that.
I'm sweating now.
no band
She
camp.
said band camp.
It went way better than we thought it was gonna go. Like
Yeah,
we
it did.
we met like I think a week before and we just were like okay.
Oh, I forgot to mention Stella's a drum major.
Oh yes. I'm a drummer.
So yeah,
I
okay.
worked very hard for that position.
She did.
So, shame on you for forgetting.
My bad.
Just joking,
Stella's
just
been
joking.
begging to be on this podcast.
No, I have not. Don't say that.
Yes, you were. Before
Okay, I
before we
was.
even had this conversation, you were like, I need to be on this podcast.
No, yeah, I do.
And so when her and I were talking the other day that you were going to be the one, I was like, that's perfect.
Yeah.
So anyway, continue.
Anyways, yes, Friday nights. Oh, band camp. Okay.
Yes.
It went way better than we all thought it would go because band camp, if people don't know that, it's a very, very like set process. And especially with the director change, we wanted it to be as normal for
Right.
everyone as it could be. And it pretty much was. Like, it literally
awesome.
felt like there was no change besides Miss Rowe coming in.
I was in band back in the day. I think my first 2 years of high school. I sucked, but I hated band camp.
Oh.
Like I'm just going to go off on a little tangent here. This is not like
band camp is tough. It's tough to get through.
I was back in the day, I used to be a little bit more lazy than what I am now. And so like just that amount of work. But like I was telling Mr. Gonder a couple weeks ago when we did that, it was like, it's so rewarding to see at the end of band camp, all the hard work paid off. And you're like, you can sit back and like, okay, I guess it was worth it.
Exactly. I relate it to cross country. Shout out to Saab, because I ran cross country as well.
I didn't.
And cross country is like, you start running 2 miles and you're like, I can't run 2 miles.
Yeah.
And then the next week he's like, run 3. And I'm like, but I can't even run 2. And then the next week he's like, okay, run 4. And I'm like, but I can't even run 3. And then eventually you get to like 8, 9 miles. And it's like, but I can't run that far. But he's like, think about running 2, 3 miles.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, that's easy now.
Yeah, exactly.
So it always, band camp's the same thing where it feels like this is so hard and like it's I'm not getting better and this is too difficult for me. And then it's like, you didn't even know what marking time was on Monday.
Yeah, exactly.
And then it's like, oh, okay, I'm doing this. So I think when people come back for their sophomore years, when they're finally like, okay, I kind of get this now. This is kind of starting to make more sense.
Well, during my freshman year, like at the beginning of the week, I was like, there's no way I'm going to learn how to march this entire show. Like that made zero sense to me. And then it happened. Like it's like magic throughout the week.
It is magic.
It's crazy.
Actually, we just go poof and then the show.
That's exactly what it was.
Yeah. That's our secret.
What were some of the challenges for this season? Obviously, new director. How was that a challenge for you? And how was that a challenge for you guys?
I worked.
Careful.
Yeah, it was a tough few months. I got the job in not January, Lord, June.
June. Wow.
Yeah.
And band camp's in August.
I got the job in June and I literally worked full time, several hours a day, Monday through, really Sunday through Sunday.
Yeah.
Until band camp. It was insanity.
And you weren't even in Michigan that entire time, were you? You were in Tennessee for a little bit?
I want to say I had like 12 flights that summer.
Holy cow.
Just in that summer. It was like back and forth and back and forth.
Yeah.
And I want to put all the miles on my car because I didn't have a nice car.
Yeah.
And Allegiant saved my butt because they are pretty cheap. So I went back and forth on Allegiant.
This is not
several
sponsored.
times. It's not, but thank you.
Should be now. So what was that like for you, new director? Because you were with Mr. Gonder previously.
Right. Like I was chosen by Mr. Gonder to be a drum major. So
Okay.
it was weird because I was like, once he told us, I was like, wait, so like the person who chose me to be a drum major, like they're not going to be here. And that was really like, it was sad for me. Like I cried, like I was really upset because like I was so excited for like this like experience with Mr. Gonder, like the band teacher I've had since 6th grade.
Right.
But I remember like once we met Miss Rowe, we were all just like, yeah, like it makes sense. Like she's like, we're supposed to. And once we started like getting a little meetups and like after band camp, we were like, okay, like this is good. Like, anyone else just wouldn't make sense.
Right.
So yeah, it was hard at first, but it really became easier and easier.
So what'd you take from your first season as director and what are you going to take to apply for next year?
I am so excited for next season.
That's awesome.
I had a great time this season, but I think that it was tough. It was tough for me and it was tough for the students. I think sometimes they forget too that I'm also grieving Mr. Gonder leaving. He's my director too. Yeah. And when he called, I was like, I actually remember when he called, he said, what are you doing? And I said, oh, I'm at a baseball game for, in Nashville for my school that I was, my students. And he's like, you got a second to talk? And I was like, oh, like my heart just like dropped because I knew immediately. And I said, don't say it. I need to walk away 1 second. And I walked like literally to the outfield. Like I walked around the fence and he probably heard me breathing. I was just like, and then I finally got to the outfield and I was like, okay. And he told me, and it was a tough thing for me.
When was this?
This was shortly before he announced it.
Okay.
And it was a tough thing for me to grasp as well, because and my heart's pounding now. Like I feel like a little heartbroken about it. And I'm happy for him. I genuinely am. And I told him that on the phone, even when he first called me, but I was just in shock.
Yeah.
So I get what these students are going through. And I don't know if when I was a student, I could have accepted the next person the way that some of these students have accepted me.
Right.
And I'm so appreciative of those students because Mr. Gonder was just awesome.
Yeah.
And it's not, you can't fill his shoes. He was just an incredible guy here for 20 years. So
was there any point during that phone call you were like, yeah, I'll have his job?
No, nope, not a single, like, I think it was like 24 hours later. I think I like called him back and I was like, wait, your job is open? Like I legit, like it didn't even cross my mind. It was like 100% like grieving. And then like the next day I was like, wait a second. Doesn't that mean his job's open?
Yeah.
And then I kind of started thinking about it and he never told me like to apply or not to apply. Some people think that he was like, you need to, but no, he's like, I want, this is totally your decision. It's up to you. And, it took me a while to like calm down from the shock, but then I was like, okay, I'll go for it. I wanted someone for the students that would be able to kind of grieve with them and understand.
Right.
If it was somebody totally new, I think that would have been missing.
Yeah.
And I get that piece. Like when Stella says, I was bummed because this director chose me and I have to go with somebody else. I'm like, I know.
Yeah.
Like I feel for you 100%. Like I get it.
Yeah. Well, that's cool that you're able to understand, especially with you being younger, you're able to connect with students differently through this time because not everybody can understand that transition, especially from an outside perspective. Yeah. I will make a comment real quick. Be careful with this table because this is, I mentioned this in the last one. This is a 6 foot, no, maybe not that long, but it's propped up on 2 boxes in each corner because it was too short. So it might get a little.
The thing is, if it falls, we'll get more views probably.
Yeah. We'll
smack the table.
Yeah, we'll hold on that one. But maybe if the end, like we're like, man, this is kind of a dull podcast, then we'll smash the table or
I'll
something.
sit like this.
No, you can do whatever you want, but it might just.
That's kind of scary.
Anyway, let's see. Give us some background information. Oh, you already did that. After you graduated from Lake Fenton, you attended MSU. What was...
Pause. I attended Mott Community College first. Okay. Go Bears.
Okay.
I played softball there for 2 years. And then I went to Michigan
State.
And
then Michigan State.
Yes.
And what officially did you go to school for at Michigan State?
Music education.
Oh. Camera says change the battery pack.
It
was plugged in.
Where's the drummer kit when we need it?
It's plugged in. Maybe this is like an old-fashioned podcast with no video now. All right, well, I better change that.
Put in like one of those hang in there.
This is yet to happen. This has never happened.
Well, he probably edited it out.
Hang in there.
Hang in there while we have this commercial break.
All right, we're back from a brief commercial break where the camera died, so we're back and better than ever.
Expect the unexpected always.
Expect the unexpected. So we were talking about how you corrected me that you went to Mott first.
Yes,
Bears.
Go Bears.
Go Bears. And then you transferred to MSU.
Yes.
To do what?
Music education.
Music education. And that worked out because you're using that degree now.
Yes, I am.
Okay.
All 6 years.
All 6 years.
200 credits.
You had Mr. Gonder for a teacher here, as you mentioned.
I did.
So what was that transition like as a student and now like in his job? Like, is that how that was worded?
I get what you mean.
Yeah.
No, it was a pretty smooth transition because it didn't go from student-teacher relationship to teacher-boss relationship. It went from student-teacher relationship to teacher/mentor me through college and be there when I need him to answer the phone about music stuff.
Right.
And
so you guys
advice.
kept in touch throughout college. Yeah. So what is it? Is it weird going from being his student to now being his coworker?
I think no, but because I feel like I've worked with him at band camps and stuff, so it's not that different, but I will say it's very different.
Yeah.
To see him in a different role.
Right.
Yeah.
What are some of your aspirations as far as where you want to take this program and what's next?
Well, I think I tell the students this quite often. What do I say? What do I tell them to do every single weekend?
Before games?
No, just any day.
Oh, okay. Because you say like 3 different things, but I'll say what I think.
Oh, now I'm scared. What's number one?
Okay, number one.
You gotta name all 3 now.
Wait, should I name all 3? But I guess. Number 3 will be the one that I think that you.
Okay.
So the first one is fake it till you make it.
Fake it until you make it.
I mean, yeah.
That's fair.
And then the second one is
go for it.
Yeah.
perform for a greater purpose.
Yes, I do say that a lot.
Okay.
Perform for a greater purpose.
What is that greater purpose?
It can be whatever the student needs it to be at the time.
Yeah.
For me, that was a band camp. My grandma had just passed away, and that was tough because I wanted her to see the band. I wanted her to see me in that role.
Yeah.
And she was so excited when I got the job.
Yeah.
And for me, it was a tough week because it was band camp, first time as director, and I'm trying to figure out all these things.
Right.
And my grandma just passed, and I felt
Right.
like I wasn't being my full self, I guess,
Yeah.
at the time. And so perform for a greater purpose kind of blossomed from that, and
Yeah.
it stuck.
Yeah.
Because sometimes, at the end of band camp, it's like, you got to do this for your freshmen. They've worked really hard. You've got to perform for them. Sometimes it was like, okay, it's senior night. You've got to, if you can't pull it out of yourself, if you can't get yourself to do it, you need to perform for your seniors. Or there's just various things, individual things
Yeah, I
that
gotcha.
people should just perform
Right.
always for something greater than themselves, be part of something greater than themselves.
And number 3?
Practice over the weekend.
Stella's favorite.
Yes. Which I do it every single week.
I told the band we sound awesome for a band that comes to class and plays their instrument and learns the music and puts on a good concert.
Yeah.
We do really, really good at that. We honestly can't do any better at it. We're great at it.
Yeah.
The next step is practicing at home and some more accountability and what is that word?
Self-awareness.
Self-awareness.
No.
What's the motivation?
Yeah.
Like we need to start motivating
Self-discipline.
ourselves. Yeah. Self-discipline, like setting up sectionals and practicing outside of band.
Yeah.
Which
Right.
percussion is doing right now.
They're getting so much better. Like just in the few weeks that I've been kind of pushing for this, the culture I feel like is already starting to change.
Yeah.
And I'm really proud of them for that.
So you
especially
feel
the
that
freshmen.
you feel the students are taking that well?
Yeah, I think it's gonna take time. Culture changes are the hardest thing to do in a band, but and it's not like they aren't practicing because they're trying to be bad or something. They just it has to change.
Yeah.
It's just something that's got to shift.
Right.
And I think that it will, given some time. And once, if you're the only one practicing and you don't feel like practicing, then it's not that big of a deal.
Right.
But if everyone else is practicing and then you don't practice, and then it kind of feels like, oh, I'm kind of letting people down, and it makes you want to like practice more.
Yeah.
So trying to get that kind of going so we can become even better.
Yeah.
Even stronger.
Yeah, for sure. All right, Stella.
You got it, girl.
You ready?
Yes.
How do you feel that she is helping you, like with all of the little details as a drum major? How has she supported you in that role?
In a lot of ways, I feel like, and I remember when she got the job, and I was like telling my mom that night, like telling her about it. I remember like just me and her talking and be like, oh, this is gonna be different because like she's a girl, and I was just like, it made me realize like, oh, maybe like we'll connect even like closer than I was with Mr. Gonder because of that reason. Like we can connect on different things that I couldn't connect on with Mr. Gonder. But I couldn't believe it because I was like, no, I'm not gonna be like as close with the band director that I was with Mr. Gonder, like Mr. Spicer. But like now that like I'm sitting here, I'm like, oh my gosh, like Like we're like, oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh.
She's
Oh my
scared to say
gosh.
besties.
I'm here with my best friend.
Even she just like has supported me in other ways other
Yeah.
than being a drum major, which I
Yeah.
think is like even better.
I think that's
than
important
that.
to have with.
Not only has she like helped us like before the game, like try to like do backbend, but like in
Right.
just many different ways, like just being there for us if we need anything.
Yeah.
Or her office is always open to go talk to her and
Yeah.
just like, and I'm not just saying that, but like actually like we
Right,
use it
right.
and we're able to like talk with her.
You bring up the backbend.
Yes.
This is always like whenever I've seen that, I've always like my body started aching from it.
Yeah.
Like, is that something like what happens if you can't do a backbend? Like, because that's a drum major thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you learn about it at camp when you get sent to drum major camp, and it actually
There's a drum major camp?
there is. Go green. It's at MSU.
Oh, wow. Okay.
It's great.
Not Mott. It's at MSU.
correct.
Not
Yes.
Okay.
But it's actually more physics than it is a backbend. It's called a backbend, so people think, oh my gosh, you're bending your back so much.
That's what it looks like.
It's not that hard. I mean,
It's
It
not
is hard,
as
but-
hard as it seems, and it's actually a lot more of your core than it is your back.
Okay.
You can like hardly really bend your back and still do an okay back bend. Just about the physics and
I'm really tempted to try it now, but I'm
the
good on
end
that.
of the pocket.
on the table.
No.
That would be the end of me.
No, but it is. It's like it
takes practice.
It takes practice for sure. And I definitely thought every single because I remember before the last game, that whole like 2 weeks that we had, none of the drum majors and we hadn't practiced it
Yeah.
those whole 2 weeks, and so we were kind of worried. But we did it. We practiced like right before the game. We're like, oh, we're fine, because it's like. It's more so just like, I feel like it's a mental thing. If you
Yeah.
are going to push yourself further than you can go, you're going to fall.
Yeah.
But
And you had to do those twirly things too. How many times did you get hit in the head?
I've never gotten hit in the head.
I don't
But,
know any.
but
Did
Close
anybody?
calls.
yeah, there
Okay.
is. But I would get hit. I would hit my knees. And so I would be like at practice stretching or something
Yeah.
at cross country practice. And I'd see bruises all over my legs. And I was like, where are those from? And then I figured out it was like I'd hit myself with my mace.
It's called a
just
mace?
skill. It's
Yeah.
it's called a mace.
Whoa,
The
okay.
little tiny one is called a baton, and the ones that they have are called a mace.
So this is a good topic. The baton lady, I'm not sure what to call her. Like,
Twirler.
is a twirler? Is that?
Oh, Arabella.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that is the first year that Blake Fenn Band has done this.
In a long time.
Oh, in a long time.
Yes.
Okay.
We've had a feature twirler before, but
Okay.
this is the first time in a very long time. I don't know if Mr. Gonder ever had a feature twirler.
So this was something you implemented and not something Mr. Gonder had planned.
no.
No, I
Oh.
got lucky.
Okay.
He was implementing it, and because of COVID and all of that,
Yeah.
I think that shifted it and pushed it a little bit. But
Okay.
no, Era technically started under me, but that was not a me thing.
Right.
It looks like it's a me thing.
How was she not freezing cold like through some of those practices?
Well, you just dress really warm, and then right for the performance, you take it all off, and then
Okay.
do your routine.
She's also like moving around a lot.
That's true.
Yeah,
That's
like,
true.
You do warm up quite a bit.
I give her a lot of credit. I don't know who she is, but mad props to you. What was her name?
Arabella.
Mad props to you,
Shout
Arabella.
out to Arabella.
Because
our feature
I
twirler.
could not have done
She's
any of
amazing.
that.
No, I remember the
That was
first
so
time I
cool to
watched
watch.
her, and the way Miss Rowe would talk to us about her, I was like, oh, she's probably okay. Like, I don't know. I didn't expect her to be. We walked in
Yeah.
that gym, I think like before band camp, and I was like, wait, like that's her, because I was like, wow, like
Is
she's
she
good.
in the band or is
She is in the band.
Okay.
She comes to first hour every day with us.
So she's just twirling in the back while you guys are practicing?
They
Well,
twirl and they go work on like
parade
she works
stuff.
with the color guard a lot
Oh, okay,
and
yeah.
like kind of collaborates with them, and yeah, she's great.
Very cool. Yeah, that was super cool to watch because I'd never seen that ever, I don't think.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Tin can raffle time, and then we'll wrap this up.
Okay.
So details. What are the dates, times? Where can people find it?
I can do this.
Put you on the spot.
Tin Can Raffle is Friday, December 2nd from 5 p.m. to 9:30 p.m.
You sound like you're reading off a teleprompter.
I am reading off my my brain, the teleprompter in my brain. Okay, here's the thing. There's these little flyer, like quarter sheet pages all over the school. I printed literally thousands of these things to give out to people.
Yeah.
And like a ton of people grabbed them from the craft show and all this stuff. And
They had the wrong date.
no, it says that it's starting at 4:00 on Friday, but that's a lie. We'll probably be ready for you. Come at 4:00. We'll see. Challenge us. But
I say get there at 4. See how it
it
goes.
starts at 5:00.
Okay.
So just, don't be on time. Be a little late. You can do it. 5:00 is when it officially starts on Friday. It ends at 9:30. And then Saturday, it's from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m.
Okay.
So.
I don't know what to call the booster president, Brian or Mr. Serbovich. Did I butcher his
Sherbovich, really. Shout out to our booster president, Brian.
He is awesome.
He is amazing.
And he Facebook messaged me a couple weeks ago and he's like, hey, you want to MC the tin can raffle? And I'm like, I've got zero clue what that means. And I still have zero clue what that means. So Saturday morning, I will be emceeing the tin can raffle.
You'll figure it out. You'll be great.
Yeah.
My fiance will be there too. And he's like also emceeing. So you can just
I feel better.
Do whatever he does.
You can rely on Mr. John all the time.
Mr. John.
Mr. John, is that his name?
Yes.
That's what we call him.
He's
Yeah.
also, I don't know. He's also our musical theater director.
You can do it.
Music.
He's
Oh yeah, Brenda and I were talking about him earlier.
Music
then
director for theater.
Okay,
theater.
well that's super cool.
Yeah.
So when are you guys getting married then?
June.
You can't tell? You can't.
Oh, I can tell. I just don't want everyone showing up at my wedding.
Yeah, what is the location?
That's not at Michigan State University.
Oh yeah.
Okay, it's not there.
No.
So you guys need a videographer or anything for your wedding?
We're narrowing it down. We are narrowing it down.
Okay, because I haven't gotten a call or anything, so.
Oh, it must
Yeah, I
be
haven't
in
got
your
an
voicemail.
invite either.
Must be in my voicemail. I will check
Brayden,
that.
Must be in your junk.
We do still
Junk
need
mail.
a flower girl if you're interested.
We do actually.
Oh, that's
asking
tempting.
him?
Do you have somebody to officiate the wedding?
I do.
Because Mr. Gonder's doing it?
That would be funny.
That would be funny.
No, we should make him the flower girl. That'd be
Yes. he can
Because right before I graduated, I went out and applied to be, what's it called? An officiant?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah, it's very easy to come on.
Yeah, well, I found that out and I was like, well, this would be cool if I got my license. And so I paid $30 and I can officiate weddings now and I've yet to do one. So Stella, you looked at Stella, so
No, I got a couple more years.
You get married, Stella?
Nope.
okay. So anyway, tin can raffle.
Yes.
And then Saturday, what was it?
Saturday, December 3rd from 9 to 4.
9 to 4. And then is Jingle Fest that night?
Jingle Fest is at 6 p.m. I really am like a teleprompter. Like I've got all of this in my, it's like I'm looking for the file. Yes.
You're buffering right now?
Sorry, she's frozen.
Your screen's frozen. You're muted. Yes, Jingle Fest is Saturday, December 3rd at 6.
Okay.
So you can finish at the Tin Can Raffle at 4 and then go to Fenton to watch the Jingle Fest.
Sounds great. What are some of the prizes that's at TCR this year? What can we be looking for?
We have a lot of good prizes. And what I wanted as my first time as director too is I wanted to kind of rein it in a little bit and go for quality over quantity.
Yeah.
That makes sense, right? Yeah.
That's good.
And we still have a lot of prizes, but I think we have really good prizes going this year.
And ticket prices are still the same price.
Yes.
So you're getting more, or you could be getting more for what you're paying.
So we have like pink tickets. Our pink tickets are 50 cents. So any of the pink, they're like all labeled on like the tablecloth will be pink. And I can't remember if the tin cans are like also labeled with the color, but it'll be obvious.
Sure.
So
we'll
the pink is 50 cents. The yellow ones are $1 and the green tickets are like the big ones. And those are $2 each. And you just buy however many tickets you want for those prizes and you throw them in the cans. And then we
choose
one. And
last year I was so excited. I put 20 tickets in the Saganos gift cards, and I
I
won
did
it.
see that.
I won it.
Yeah, I did.
$100 Saganos gift card.
Is it $100?
It was $100.
I saw the sheet for it today, and I was
Well,
like, "Ooh,
you better
Oh.
believe that I'm putting a whole lot of tickets in that gift card slot.
Are we doing a drum major date one still?
I think so.
Okay, good.
I think so.
What is that?
And you should put it in for
It's-
that one.
Well, it's open to high school students.
Oh, yeah, because that'd be weird if it was somebody older.
Or younger.
Or be like,
What is it, like a drum
Or
major
like
for a day?
It's a drum major date. So
we take you out.
the high schoolers.
Yeah, that would be weird.
The high schoolers. No, I think it would be fun. I'm gonna put in for it. I count.
You should.
Okay.
But actually,
Okay.
We've been on dates. The drum majors and I have
Yeah,
been on
we
dates.
have.
For
That's
sure.
fair.
100%.
That's fair. So you'd rather just
but
pay
like
to go on
someone's
this one?
grandpa put one in, that'd be kind of weird.
Yeah.
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 But yeah, it's like a dinner or something with the drum majors. It's kind
Yeah.
of
At Saganos?
No,
Maybe,
I
if
mean,
you
maybe.
win.
It's fair.
Not necessarily be anywhere, I guess.
I think the section baskets are what's going to be really cool on
Okay.
this year. Each section puts together like a themed basket for Tin Can Raffle. So we have 17 section baskets.
Wow.
That range from like there's a campfire one, there's a different pet ones, there's like cookie making, there's just like
Wow.
such
Okay.
a variety because they want to try to keep it like
Right.
Yeah,
like-
having variety. So
Right.
there's lots of different options with just the section baskets, and it really features like our students and their creativity and their fun like
That's awesome.
basket ideas. So
All right. Well, that's all I got. Anything else you feel like sharing with the world?
if I'm not on the podcast again for a while, this is my last time as Miss Rowe on the podcast. So shout out to
True.
Mr. John, who's gonna make me Mrs. Costello next year. And-
Costello?
Yeah, Costello.
Okay.
Yep.
That's going to be a
And
hard name for students, I think.
I don't.
Well,
you
What does
know,
that start with?
A C.
Okay.
Costello. Wow, I did that so fast.
All right, Mrs. C.
Mrs. C.
C,
That's what they'll
right?
call you.
Because Miss Rowe is like Miss Rowe.
Yeah, it's
Miss
easy.
Rowe.
It's easy.
But like Mrs. Costello, like who's gonna say that?
Costello.
Kimberly.
I'm gonna
next
call
year.
it. Yep. I'm so excited. The
So
day
I can call you
graduate.
Kimberly now. I get it was like it's a weird thing because
That's
I when I started the podcast with Mr. Dimich, I was like, so I
Yeah,
can
I know.
call you Frank now.
And he was like,
He's,
no,
no, not a fan of that.
no. Once people graduate, I don't care.
Yeah.
It's honestly, I'm still young enough where like when people say Miss Rowe, I'm like, what?
Gotta get used
mom
to
here?
that. Yeah. Okay. Well, Kimberly and Stella, why did I forget your name again?
I'm gonna call
I
you
love
Carson.
Stella.
Like
Can I say one more thing?
I wonder if Carson watches these. Yes,
he said, he doesn't.
he doesn't.
I just want to shout out to my 4 awesome drum majors
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
they have accepted me. They had 3 options. They could accept me immediately, they could wait to find out, or they could be totally against me because there was a director change.
Yeah.
And literally since day 1 in June when I came in, they have accepted me 100%. And
Well, I think that also
appreciate
shows
that
to
so
your
much.
leadership and your ability to connect with the students that it's made it a much easier transition for everybody.
Well, I've tried, but they
know, I
they have
have.
100% just welcomed me with open arms, and I appreciate them so much. They've worked so hard for me. Drum
Good work.
major hours are a little extensive, a little more than
Yeah.
your average marcher. So we've gotten to spend lots of time. We've gotten to spend. Is that accurate?
That's accurate.
Okay, we've gotten to spend.
to.
We have got.
We've got to spend.
We have had to got a lot of time together.
Good,
and
good.
they are
The
amazing.
uniform room.
This sounds like fun.
Wait, don't end it yet. Tell them about what I did to you.
Oh my gosh. There's this like dummy, like
Yes.
this mascot thing.
Yes.
His name's Wayne.
That's terrified
His
me
name is
many
Wayne.
times.
Wayne.
And he's wearing the 2014 Michigan shirt
Yep.
that I was a part of anyway, my senior year
I can't
as
believe you
drum
have a sh- I can't
major.
believe you have a shirt like that.
Anyway, I probably don't anymore. Go green. And
Go green.
she put it like right at the entrance of the door.
Like 2 months ago.
Yes, and I opened the uniform room and it's dark, like it's really dark. And I open it and I turn the lights on and there's like someone right in my face. I did not say a bad word.
Good.
I did not.
Good.
I didn't because I would not
For
do
sure.
that.
Never.
No, but yeah, then I went and yelled at her.
Uh-huh.
So
I would have too.
Well, it's great to be back at Lake Fenton. It really is.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
Wait.
It is.
Been here a year.
How long were you gone, Stella?
I was not.
Shout out to my Nashville buddies, my teachers, and my students.
Yeah,
there.
tell them
I
to
miss
watch.
So you're gonna send them this
They're
link?
gonna watch this.
Yeah, I'll
during
post on my
class.
Facebook. Or
Perfect. Perfect.
Yes.
All right. That's all I have for today. See, I told you I'm awful at ending these things. I've got no clue what to say.
Just all awkwardly stare at each other.
Mr. Gonder told me that I have to
know.
end these with a
Listen.
joke.
Listen,
Oh.
I heard it. I watched your podcast, and I was like,
That
oh
means
my
a
God.
lot. I appreciate that.
He's gonna make me say a joke, and I don't have one.
Well, now that you say that,
Okay.
tell me a joke.
Okay. Well, first of all, you're supposed to thank me.
Oh, you're
Mr.
right.
Gonder said you
You're right.
thank them.
You're right.
And then I say
Well,
a joke.
I think I already thanked you, but I'll do it again.
Oh crap.
Kimberly, Estella, thank you so much for joining me on the Blue Devil podcast.
Yes.
This is your time for a joke.
Oh, thank you for having me. My joke is sitting to my left.
You know what would have been really funny?
That's you.
If you said the wrong direction.
Oh, see, you didn't get it. So
See,
now
I
it's
didn't
not funny.
get it.
Okay.
See,
If I said what? The wrong direction? To
Yeah,
my
like
right.
I have a joke,
nobody's
but
there.
it might not be appropriate for school.
Well, then you probably shouldn't say it.
Stella, what do you know that's not appropriate for school?
No, stop. It's actually, it's like it. Can I just say it and you can cut it out?
No.
Whisper it in my ear.
But Karen told it to me.
Whisper it in my ear. Shh, whisper.
Yeah, that's not whispering. I can hear it clearly.
No.
Yeah.
You're hilarious, Stella.
Karen told it to
The
me.
world will never know.
Never know. You'll have to go ask Stella on your own.
And I'll tell you it.
Thanks for having us on, Brayden.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Brayden.
Thanks for being here.
Perform for a greater purpose.
The end.